The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is reviewing the mismanagement of the Epstein and Maxwell case, circumstances of the death, the rings that were in operation, because the government wants to stop them rather than encourage them. He pled guilty in Florida state court to 2 prostitution offenses, and in exchange, his co-conspirators got massive immunity. Everybody except Glenn. They also want all video, including security or any still photography taken at any of these addresses. Man, like, this is a nice list. More subpoenas coming out from the Oversight Committee. This one posted by James Comer today. He chairs the committee. Says, I have issued a subpoena to the Epstein estate for documents and communications in its possession, custody, or control in unredacted form. And this is important because what we have coming in very soon on September 19th is going to be Alexander Acosta. And he is the prosecutor who handled the early case back in 2007 and gave Jeffrey Epstein that sweetheart deal. So we've got some documents, and it sounds like they're going to be asking Acosta about them. And it's from the Oversight Committee. They posted this officially. They said, here's the latest update from Comer on the investigation into Epstein and Maxwell. Publishing this today, saying, here's an update for you guys. All right, the House Oversight Committee announced updates. First, Comer issued a subpoena to Epstein. I got that part. Says the Committee on Oversight is reviewing the possible mismanagement of the federal government's investigation into Epstein and Maxwell, the circumstances and subsequent investigations of his death, the operation of rings of people, and ways for the federal government to effectively combat them, and ethic rules violations that may have happened as well. It is our understanding that the estate of Jeffrey Epstein is in custody and control of documents that may further the committee's investigation and legislative goals. Further, it is our understanding the estate is ready and willing to provide these documents to us if we give them a subpoena, and so we've done that. And now second, Comer announced Alexander Acosta, former U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida and former Secretary of U.S. Department of Labor, will appear voluntarily for a transcribed interview on September 19th, okay? So he didn't have to get a subpoena. He just showed up, or is going to show up. Third, Comer announced the committee will accept formal written declarations from a couple people. Alberto Gonzalez, AG, Eric Holder, and Jeff Sessions, okay? So they're all going to make written statements. Those are all former AGs under penalty of prosecution for false statements, stating they possess no information about these cases at all. They better say you got nothing. They were subpoenaed for depositions, but they responded through the counsel probably and just said, we have literally nothing to say. Know nothing about it. So if you bring us in there, we're just going to sit there and just say, I got nothing for you. So that's the announcement. So here's what went over to the Epstein estate. Dear Mr. Weiner, the Committee on Oversight and Government Reform is reviewing the mismanagement of the Epstein and Maxwell case, circumstances of the death, the rings that were in operation, because the government wants to stop them rather than encourage them. Now, it's my understanding that the estate of Epstein is in custody and control of documents that may be useful to us. And it's our understanding that you're ready to send them to us as long as we send you a subpoena. And so that's what we're doing. On July 6, 2019, authorities arrested Epstein. 2 days later, an indictment was unsealed, which was minors, crimes, and conspiracy. According to the indictment, Epstein exploited dozens of minors at his homes. And the indictment says that some as young as 14, all in exchange for money. This was not the first time that he'd been investigated for this either. In fact, in 2008, he pled guilty in Florida state court to 2 prostitution offenses, and in exchange, his co-conspirators got massive immunity. Everybody except Glenn through a non-prosecution agreement. So then on October 10, 2019, Epstein died. The chief medical examiner ruled it a suicide, but Maxwell was sentenced to 20 years in prison later. So the facts and circumstances about these both cases have received immense public scrutiny. We sent a bunch of letters into this, and now we're here. Trump even posted about it on True Social. He says, I've asked Attorney General Bondi to produce all grand jury testimony, and their motions were filed. Of course, they were all denied. On July 22nd, Bondi posted a statement from Todd Blanche, and they ultimately posted the full transcript of this as well. On August 5th, the committee issued a subpoena to the DOJ for documents related to these 2 cases. Recent reporting indicates that the estate of Epstein has access to documents that are relevant to what we're looking into, including the birthday book that was prepared by Maxwell. The attached subpoena is for you. It's imperative that Congress conduct oversight of this because we don't want any more of this trafficking crap going on in our country. That's for sure. Sincerely, James Comer. Now that's just part 1. Part 2 is over here. This is the actual subpoena. Okay, so this is what they want. All entries that were in the leather-bound book compiled by Glenn for the birthday. The last will and testament of Epstein, immediately preceding August 8th. All non-disclosure agreements. The non-prosecution agreement that he had executed executed, which we've already read, all documents and communications relating to that agreement, any document that could be strewed as a potential list of clients who were involved with Epstein, all documents and communications about missed phone call logs or missed visitor logs, all entries that are referencing a black book, all flight logs, documents to show bank accounts and account numbers, financial transactions, cryptocurrency, ledgers, payments, calendar that he may have used all the way back to 1990 to 2019. A lot of different technology developments in calendaring. All documents and communications, including house manuals, instruction manuals for any properties rented or owned or anything for each one of these. He had a place in New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, France, 2 addresses in Ohio, and of course the Virgin Islands. They also want all video, including security or any still photography taken at any of these addresses. Man, like this is a nice list. All photographs, all CCTV. It's, oh no, we don't preserve any of that stuff. He's dead. Why wouldn't you preserve it? All documents and communications, numbers 1 through 92 that relate to Virginia Gouveia or all vice presidents and presidents of the United States. Okay, so like if you're Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, Trump, all of them. We also want all documents about these entities, various LLCs, and in complying with this, you've got to do a good job. Make sure that you produce them in the following files. We'll take a hard drive, memory stick. When you produce the documents, identify the paragraphs. If you don't produce something, tell us why. If it's no longer in your possession, explain where it was. Number your documents. 2 sets should be delivered, 1 to the minority, 1 to the majority. Document means everything, okay? Like if you ask, is it a document? The answer is yes, it is in that list. Communication and the rest of the definitions. And so Comer explaining, we want the records and they're getting a subpoena to deliver them. So there might be some good stuff in there, man. And we'll see what they've got in response to that. I think that the answer will be, we haven't preserved anything. We don't have much of anything at all. So we'll give you, this stack of manila file folders, which have nothing in them, but that's all we got. So we'll keep our eye on it, but it's nice to see Congress continuing on. James Comer leading the charge. Thanks for subscribing and joining as we do.